This week on Another Brother. So did you copy and paste, or did you use it as an aggregator of information? Summarizing topics and things for you?
I certainly copied and pasted. So when I tried to spoof Dr. Doofenshmirtz's voice from a bunch of YouTube clips that I spliced together, not entirely legal, but also it's for my kids, so I don't care. You can come
it was
after me.
personal use. An alien race of friends. Allies. That's the word. Allied
We're a
alien
race of
race.
friends.
Brother over here, brother over there, brother everywhere. Another brother.
Do we need to figure out like a way to actually start student hurts every time?
I don't
does it
feel
work
like
fine?
it. I always
Okay.
end up just editing it
Yeah.
for feel, and it's fine for me, unless you guys want something.
I think it's okay. I don't really listen to the podcast, though.
And I just always feel a little awkward sitting here waiting for someone to be the
Long time
first one to say something.
First time listener. Yeah.
So, I mean, my perspective on AI comes from like a creative kind of angle, and I don't know. I don't I don't think my opinion is very well fleshed out right now, because I haven't really done anything to figure out yet how I can work AI into anything that I do. But I do know that it has me concerned that being a podcast editor is not a particularly solid future right now because of AI.
True. I actually heard a story. There's a Beatles documentary. No. Queen. It's either Queen or the Beatles.
Uh-huh.
And they took unusable footage. So
Right.
there was one camera, one microphone, and it was these guys playing on stage. And so it's unusable because you've got just a lot of background noise. You've got the guys in the back banging things together, dragging stuff around while the band's performing.
Mm-hmm.
But they used AI to isolate every single noise source in that really crappy old footage to the point where they could isolate on the bass, on the individual voices, on each individual instrument. And they were able to take this unusable footage and create an entire documentary using it.
I mean, that might have been what Peter Jackson did for his Beatles documentary.
On Disney Plus.
What's it called?
I don't remember, but it's 8 hours long.
That's probably it.
Whoa.
I think 8 hours. It might be 4 hours. It's one of those two.
That might very well be it. Peter Jackson did a World War I.
Uh-huh.
This is much longer ago. Stupid English. And it was old, black and white footage, obviously, World War I. And then they recolorized it through AI.
That does sound familiar.
And it looks really good. And they added audio, AI selected audio tracks to play. Crazy. So I don't know. I agree. But from the creator standpoint, the utility is like, you can't even imagine how AI is going to be used.
Yeah.
So that's what freaks me out. I feel like an old man right now that doesn't know what to do with this new technology, and it's going to eat me alive.
Well, I mean, this is our second time talking about AI. And the first time I had mentioned that Disney animator and his response to Corridor's Cruise video where they use AI to make live footage animated.
The rock, paper, scissors video.
Yeah.
And his response to the outrage is, hey, people, the industry has always adapted to new technology. If you don't adopt it, that's how you're going to get left behind, not because of the technology, but because you're not using the technology.
Right.
That's kind of largely painted the way I've felt about it so far. I think the problem is if people just don't figure out how to use it. But as far as ethics in general, to me, the big ethical issue is, well, okay, I just thought of a second one. One, when you're training it on the specific art style of a specific artist, whether that be music or images or whatever medium, that to me doesn't quite feel right.
But
no, I agree.
I don't know, because you did not purchase the right to use but if you had a student isn't this how painting classes work?
Yeah, it is.
Don't you teach someone based
It
off
is.
of like, look at the brushstrokes, look how they layered the paint?
You're not wrong. And I mean, the Disney style. Hello. How
Yeah.
many different animators are doing that?
And I know early on there were some like direct recreations of images that the models were trained on. So like some researchers, I can't remember who they were or where they were, they prompted AI to I think it was DALL-E from OpenAI to generate an image very specifically to try to recreate one of the images they knew DALL-E was trained on.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, they were able to reproduce pretty closely the trained images. But it wasn't the exact image. It's pretty dang close. But that'd be like me tracing like what I did in 3rd grade and 4th grade.
But can you sell that? You trace it,
I did. I made bookmarks out of it and sold the bookmarks to my... But anyway.
Okay, but you know what I mean? That's different, right? Because people, I mean, on social media, there's already so many issues of people, they post their work to Twitter, Instagram, wherever. All these, I'm going to say it, Chinese companies take that art and they slap it on their products. And they're selling that art.
Right. But this isn't really like, okay, someone asked DALL-E to recreate an exact image and it didn't quite get it right. So in that case, the metaphor is tracing it. But everything else that normal people use it for is just give me this image in this style. And plenty of artists will like go to a museum to paint someone else's painting to learn the style. And then they can recreate it, you know?
Yeah. I think people are up in arms because it's so much more effective and efficient and optimized.
Yeah. There's no work involved for...
I guess, is there a current precedence for human artists copying the exact style of a different human artist and selling their art with the exact same style? And would you be able to sue someone for that?
Well, you have like schools. This is why you have schools of... Like you have impressionist painters. You have cubists.
But they're all kind of different, aren't they? Like in the end, are they that identical?
I mean,
That's why you identify. That's why you can identify it as this is a cubist painter because his style is cubist.
Style, but every artist has their own unique flair on any style.
But I've never checked to see how specific to an artist the end result really is when someone says in the style of this person. Is it really in the style of Van Gogh specifically? I'm sorry, Van Gogh. Or is it just more or less an impressionist painting that it creates?
I don't know.
If it's more just impressionist, then...
Maybe for now. But if we can get to the point where it can perfectly replicate down to the stroke.
I guess this is the other problem, probably. I think, maybe. We'll see. One, it's definitely for money.
Yes,
and it's
so that's
just for the money. And the other, before the AI type situation, it's about becoming an artist. It's about trying to make art of your own eventually. And maybe you're taking inspiration from their style, but you're doing something expressive of yourself in the process. Whereas the other is just about commercialization.
But as free capitalist Americans, where we value the independence of people's actions and behavior.
Okay.
Morally, ethically.
Let's change medium.
Okay. Yeah. Music. Okay.
Voice. Right. Lizzie sent us that clip on YouTube, Bing Crosby singing all these ridiculous songs that Bing would never sing. To me, it was a pretty good replica, but didn't sound like him, I didn't think.
I thought the voice definitely sounded like him.
You thought so?
I agree with these. Those should be his, like the Bing Crosby's estate or his record label. Whoever was the last legal entity to own the rights to Bing Crosby's voice, I think in that case should have full legal right.
Okay,
yeah, so I'm
sorry. It did not sound like Bing Crosby because it was supposed to be Frank Sinatra. And it did sound like Frank Sinatra.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, that explains a lot. I thought it was supposed to be Bing. I was like,
it
sounds nice, but it doesn't sound like Bing.
These voice models, you have to. So I used one, and I can tell you guys about a project that I have right now. That's pretty dang awesome. I hope to unveil it this weekend on our family trip.
Okay.
What?
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
The doctor guy. Yeah. Right.
So when you train, so this particular company that I'm thinking of is called 11 Labs,
Mhm.
and they do really phenomenal voice models, and you train them. And so you provide clean audio clips of a voice.
Yeah.
It could be your own voice,
Of course.
and it will train it. But when you upload, you have to agree that you own the full rights to that audio that you are uploading.
That you own the
Right.
rights?
Yes.
You have to agree to the fact
Not that you necessarily
I get
own the
it.
rights, but
Okay.
that you have the right to
got it. Understood.
use it for whatever.
Yeah.
So when I tried to spoof Dr. Doofenshmirtz's voice from a bunch of YouTube clips that I spliced together, not entirely legal, but also it's for my kids, so I don't care. You can
Yeah,
come
it was
after me.
personal use.
Yeah. I'm never going to capitalize on that. So the company holds themselves, they're indemnified. I don't know if that's the right use of the word, but it's to the user who says, yes, I own this.
I mean, that's a good way for them to keep their hands clean, I guess.
I'll just say, so for that, like the developers of the voice training model, I think are totally in the right. I think it's absolutely ethical, but the way users will definitely and currently do use it, that's where the problem is. And
Right.
that's on them, not
Right.
the company.
I still sometimes question whether or not that kind of a tool should be available to the public anyway.
I agree.
Not sometimes, all the time. And my big worry about it is like political figures. Now you couple that with how amazing deep fakes are getting. We can spoof video of someone talking as well as their voice. That's what scares me. How long is it going to be until, someone over in Russia puts out this crazy deep fake of Putin that goes viral immediately on Telegram because those word travels so quickly on Telegram.
Yeah, I think that gets into another ethical issue because at the same time, we're also developing AI that can detect the use of AI
Right.
in all of these different modes and medium. So the real problem in that instance, I think, is the consumers who aren't instructed or trained or educated well enough to understand how to question the content that they're consuming. And which, talking with Shane, I think that needs to start getting taught in like primary school, middle school, high school, because this is going to be an issue, but it's unavoidable. But we need to do that anyway, because look at social media. I mean, you're getting crap, which are AI algorithms feeding it to you as well. There's another ethical issue.
Well, even the insane filters that Instagram models can already apply to themselves in video, they look nothing like that. But all these kids are looking at it and they think, that's what she looks like. That's what I need to look like.
Right. So it's like
Right.
so people are already being fed just probably like 70% lies in their daily consumption of social media.
Yeah.
Even content creators. I would say most content creators are lying and they're reusing other people's content already. Just like AI might be trained on something.
Here's a slightly
Yeah.
different take on that. Back to politicians. I feel like a lot of politicians are really leaning into just saying whatever they want and leaving the burden of proof on literally everybody else. They
Fair.
could create whatever lie they wanted at that point, practically,
That's probably considered a rhetorical device these days.
Right, exactly.
I mean, Trump published a book on that
Yeah.
exact thing.
yeah.
The art of the deal.
And I
Mm.
handed in an assignment about that.
Oh. Speaking of handing in assignments, I have used ChatGPT to answer assignments for me. Is that ethical?
Did it display any understanding or knowledge that you lacked?
Heck yeah,
Did you learn from it?
I did.
And do you currently possess that knowledge now?
No, I never do. I always data dump.
Well,
So did you
Hmm.
copy and paste or did you use it as an aggregator of information? Summarizing topics and things for you.
I certainly copied and pasted, and then also cleaned it up, did an edit, made it sound more natural, and used it to spur a little bit of deeper connections and
Right.
things. But
Yeah.
it probably made up maybe 80% of my final submission.
Hmm.
But I went through and I sourced it all. I found sources for all of it.
That helps your
okay.
case.
Well, are you really wanting us to say we don't like this?
No, I mean that's another big
It
hot
is.
button.
Because
Yeah,
I do.
mean,
I think it is unethical.
I don't see how it could be unless you do actually learn from it, because in my opinion, the purpose of the assignment is to learn something. And however you end up learning something while doing the assignment is all that matters to me. But if you don't currently possess that information in your head anymore, you didn't really learn
I
from it.
possessed
Well,
it as soon as I read it.
I forget pretty quick and easily too. I can give some leniency there.
That's where it's hard for me. Like, if you had just studied and learned it and written it yourself, would you still possess that information, or would you have forgotten?
So this is why I think because we're never going to ban these tools. Like, we're not going
No.
to close these off. What has to happen globally is a paradigm shift in our perspective on knowledge and the pursuit of knowledge, and how we educate people and the types of assignments that we give people. There's going to have to be some sort of shift to put the onus back on the student, and we just have to adapt to the technology.
But so again, back to Alex's point, kind of, who's that burden on currently? Who's responsible for educating the masses of how to use and how to recognize?
Yeah, in college, the professors, they're not teachers. They're not supposed to be teachers. Like, that's the first thing you're supposed to learn in college. Your education is up to you now, kid.
I think it should be in public schools, in the K through 12 system.
Okay, so yeah.
All these things.
Or should it be
Agreed.
on
With
the
that,
AI
at
companies
least.
themselves? Should they be leading the charge on educating
You know,
people?
that's funny because
They're the ones creating it. They're putting it out there. They're the ones who can potentially get us in trouble.
you can't trust them though. So I had this thought because we had Burger King the other night because crazy day. And and on the kids meal, whatever Burger King's kids meal thing is,
Yeah.
probably just kids meal. On the side of it, there's like 3 cartoons and there's like fun descriptions about these 3 individual characters to like make the kids whatever have some connection with these characters. And then at the bottom, there's this block of words that says, "This is advertising, kids," or "This is marketing, kids."
Huh.
Just this like tongue in cheek. I feel
Huh.
like somebody was like, "Hey, you can't directly market to children. That's unethical. You have to put something on
Yeah.
your packaging." And that was Burger King's response to the packaging, was just like this snide, tongue in cheek. "Hey, by the way, all that cool stuff we just did up there, yeah, that's marketing, kids." I'm like, dude, it made me mad because that's the story I told myself. That's what they're doing. So I don't know. I don't think you can expect the outcome you want when you make the companies who are developing these things the ones responsible for also educating its proper use.
I mean, Meta's not going to do it. Meta has already made that clear many times over the years. They expect the government to
Yes.
come up with all of the things to rein them back in
Thank
to what
you.
they should do.
Yeah.
Which is actually what the CEO of OpenAI has been doing in Congress.
Mhm.
He's been trying to create this scare narrative in Congress and getting Congress so worked up that they're like, "Okay, well, Sam, tell us what to do. What should we do?" He's like, "Well, I think this is how you should, I think you need to regulate it, first of all. I think this is how you should regulate AI. And they're like, "Oh, great. You're our AI savior,
Oh, no.
regulation savior. We're going to name you to the government board of AI regulation."
What?
Exactly.
Good for him.
Exactly. So guess what? He has the power to do. Regulate his own industry, thereby preserving his position in the market, presumably.
Or at least allowing himself to continue getting away with whatever he wants
How
to.
could
Yeah.
anyone think that's a good idea?
He is the AI expert who is the only one concerned.
Yeah, exactly.
He's concerned. He's trying to do his own kind of cutting edge technology whistleblowing.
And the only one qualified to understand it well enough to
Yeah.
figure out regulation. Because certainly there's no person with personal stake in the game who wouldn't be able to figure out regulations for
Can you
it.
imagine? Yeah, like Mark Zuckerberg guy.
Yeah.
Oh, please regulate us, Congress,
Yeah.
government, please. I don't know what to do. I created this monster, and I shouldn't be held liable for. Gosh, spineless.
I mean, it should be said, we use AI for at least 3 different purposes on this podcast. So it's not like we're against AI.
Right.
Despite everything that's been said. I do think there are certainly glaring ethical issues that will need to be figured out.
How about
in the
we
near
enumerate
future.
the ways in which we use AI for the podcast?
Namely, 1, transcription. We use DeepCram or Whisper, which is an OpenAI, to transcribe our audio after we have our final produced cut.
Those images, right?
And
The
on the
thumbnails.
website,
The
the thumbnails.
And those crazy alternate history
It does
stories.
create- Oh, yeah. Which I stopped doing, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
That's-
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't
because the AI provider stopped offering that
Oh,
kind of
bummer.
that sort of service.
A free
Okay.
service?
Yeah.
So two ways. We use it two
Two
ways now,
ways.
right?
Continue to this day. Okay.
But can I tell you how I'm using AI in my current project for the kids?
Yeah.
It's pretty dang rad, guys. I mean, this is why I am such a proponent for AI and why I think it's so freaking awesome as long as people aren't dumb with it. So I took...
Sounds like a good lead-in.
Oh boy.
I took Doofenshmirtz clips from YouTube. Again, only for use by my children. And spliced it together, trained an AI model after Doofenshmirtz's voice.
Uh-huh.
However, the audio was not clean, so you got lots of crazy artifacts. This voice is pretty manic.
The AI version.
Yes, he's the perfect evil scientist.
Doofenshmirtz already isn't unhinged enough.
Yeah. This makes him... I'm kind of scared of this guy based on the way this voice came out. Then I use... So that's just to create like a voice of one character. Then and that's using 11 Labs. I'm going to cite who I'm using. So that's 11 Labs. Then I use d-id.com. They have a speaking portrait AI where you can take a 2-dimensional portrait of a human figure.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a live person, could be a character.
And
Mhm.
give it a voice.
I upload the audio track
Will it animate the
and
mouth?
it animates
Mhm.
everything in the
Expressions.
frame.
Holy cow.
Expressions, eyes,
That's amazing.
the head. If I put trailing silence and head silence, he'll move in the frame until it's time to talk. And it looks so freaking good. That AI image, or that image I used for the character is, I can't think of the company now, but it's an AI image generator.
Right.
So I type in what I want the guy to look like. It creates the image. I use that image, upload my AI voice model audio track. It creates a speaking portrait. And then the whole script and everything for this entire game I'm making
It's for a game.
is ChatGPT. And I just
Dang.
give it prompts. It gives me all the script. All I have to do is do the programming, slice it up, put it.
Oh, is that all? Just some programming?
The burden. But I was thinking about that today. I could have used ChatGPT to probably write
Your code?
70% of the code.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
right. Shoot.
I just
kind of
need
forgot about that.
Yeah, I just need to understand how it pieces together and then stitch all the seams, Just crazy. It's so crazy. And once you guys see it this weekend, you'll be blown away.
Shall we be...
Okay. I wanted to talk today about the current state of Star Citizen so that we can eventually get into what the future of the game is going to be. It just makes sense to me to start with what's going on right now.
So are we doing the future today too? Or the future is tomorrow?
The features of the future.
I do have some of the near future ready to go here, so
Nice.
hopefully we can get to that. Yeah. So right now, the game Star Citizen is an open, I guess you'd say, universe, open galaxy,
Literally in this case.
massively multiplayer online game where everybody is able to play in a single star system right now, a single solar system, not our solar system. It's called the Stanton system, based off of the star at the center, whose name is Stanton. That star was discovered in the year 2851, supposedly in the fiction of the game, which is 100 and a couple years before what the current year is in the game. I believe we're currently in the year 2953 in the game.
Oh, wait, so 100
Dang.
years after discovery of
Yeah.
the system.
100 and some odd years.
Oof, those move fast.
Planets got populated quick.
Stanton is a G-type star, which is like our sun, which means it's a yellow star.
Nice.
Very
Straight up
similar
cheese.
in composition to ours. There are 4 planets circling the star.
Pyro? Dang it.
Wow, you have been out of the loop for a while. They are in order of size, I believe. Crusader, which is a gas giant. Hurston, which is a super Earth. ArcCorp, also a super Earth. And Microtech, also a super Earth.
Oh.
Each of
They're
these
all big.
planets was sold by the United Earth Empire to a different corporation. That's why their names seem a little weird. Some of them might have stood out as a little weird.
Like ArcCorp?
Yes. Like
Yeah, they all
ArcCorp
felt
and
weird.
Microtech.
Yes.
Microtech.
Each planet also has multiple moons that have varying conditions, surface conditions, atmospheres, and things of that nature. There's also an asteroid belt called the Aaron Halo. I think it was named after the explorer who found the Stanton system. That lucky butt that found the jump point that no one had mapped before and went to a new star system that no one had seen before.
Made his millions.
Yeah, probably. Well, yeah, I would hope so. The government might have screwed him. Who knows? He might have even been a government explorer, even.
Mm.
Oh,
knows?
just got
The
a
Christopher Columbus.
regular salary.
Yeah. There are 3 jump point connections within the system.
Oh, snap.
One goes to the Pyro system. That's a star system, not a planet. One goes to the Magnus system, and the other goes to our home system of Terra,
What?
the Terra system.
Currently in game?
Which is weird because I guess that means they call our sun Terra in this future
Boo.
and not
Oh, because the
Sol.
systems are named after the sun.
Yeah,
I, mean,
well,
I might be
the
wrong.
solar
Star.
system.
Terra might be. I think I'm wrong. I think the Sol
Another?
system is our home system, but I think there's a planet out there called Terra Prime that is like the first second Earth that we inhabited.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100%. The Stanton system is one of only 2 fully colonized systems in the UEE, meaning every planetary body within it has been colonized.
Hmm.
And the security, policing of the star system is handled jointly by the United Earth Empire and each of these corporations' security teams. So when you're in their, not really airspace, but for lack of a better word, airspace of
Space.
yeah, vacuum space of each of these corporations. They have their own security teams, but when you're between systems, then I believe the UEE handles everything.
So if I get in a pitched battle with a corporation security team, does that harm my standing with the UEE?
Yes, because it's still illegal.
Ooh, dang it.
Yeah, if you're breaking the law, you're breaking the law.
What if they started it?
Then they probably had a good reason.
Yeah, because my
I
warrant.
don't know.
Dang.
Okay, so now let's talk about those corporations a little bit. Hurston Dynamics obviously owns the planet Hurston. They produce weapons and munitions and also work in materials processing. So they generally process their own materials in making all of these weapons and munitions.
They have a
So they have
entire
lots of
planet
mining.
for it.
Yeah, right. And they've got mining all over that planet and all over the moons in the system of that planet. They tend to have rather controversial employee contracts, so they're not exactly a great company to work for. They're a little abusive, I guess you might say. And they're also known for trashing the planet. It is a burning trash heap. It smog everywhere. It's
Gross.
kind of gross. Crusader Industries on the planet Crusader, which is a gas giant.
Yeah, they got gypped.
Well, they produce spacecraft mostly.
So they don't need to land on something.
I mean, it is a little easier to get off the planet when you're not all the way down on the surface once the ship is complete. So, they're just making lemonade out of lemons, I guess. They produce mostly passenger and cargo spacecraft and components.
So
But
they just have sky docks
they do, yeah.
surrounding this planet.
Yeah, you can live there.
Like
Oh.
Corellia, is that the one in Star Wars? The floating city
It's got like pink
where we first
clouds.
meet Lando. They also produce some military aircraft or spacecraft.
Wait, Crusader? Oh, yeah.
Yep,
yeah.
Crusader Industries. They've got the Mercury Star Runner, which is a little ship that's kind of trying to be the game's Millennium Falcon. So it's got hidden passages, which are pointless at this point because literally everyone knows where they all are. So they're not really hidden anymore.
Well, yeah. What made the Millennium Falcon the Millennium Falcon was that there was only one of them.
Yeah.
Right. No, I don't think that's true. Dang it. Yeah, I don't think that's true.
I know so little about Star Wars.
I believed you.
While that specific ship is called the Millennium Falcon, it has an actual, like...
It was a production
name.
ship.
Yeah, it has a production name. I just can't remember what it's called. A Corellian something. Crusader also makes the A2, C2, and M2 variants of the Hercules Starlifters. The A2 is a gunship, the C2 is a cargo ship, and the M2 is, I think, for shuttling military ground vehicles around.
This is a pretty large ship, but not
It is,
quite a
yes.
capital ship, or
Correct, yeah. I wouldn't call it a capital ship. It's, you might say it's definitely bigger than one of our, like, B-52 bombers. But as far as comparing it to other ships in the game, you'd say it's something like that. They also make the Ares Starfighter series of ships with the Ion and Inferno variants. The Ion has a single size 7 laser cannon, which is large. That is a big gun. These are small, single-person aircraft, spacecraft.
one massive
With
laser
one
on it.
freaking huge gun off-center to your right when you're in the cockpit. I think it's to the right. And it dominates the profile of the ship. And the Inferno, pretty much exactly the same, size 7 Gatling gun.
Nice.
And that one, I believe, is not... I don't think it's energy-based. I think it's solid munitions. What do they call those?
Depleted uranium kinetic? I don't know.
They used to call them kinetic. Anyway, it uses actual bullets.
Material.
Oh, gotcha.
Finally. There are some other ships coming, but they're not quite in the game yet. They have the Genesis Starliner, which is a high-class, highfalutin passenger aircraft. And it's big. It's a big one. We're talking like 787 Dreamliner size. Probably bigger than that, but, you know.
So just for like cruises, interstellar cruises?
I guess, but it looks like what you'd think like a passenger aircraft would look like. That's what it looks like.
Huh.
It's not in the game yet, so.
Okay. I hope at this point in the future, we're still, when we build big old ships, we're still sending them off with a bottle of champagne right before they go.
Well, you only really do that with, like, water vehicles, so I don't know if
These are spaceships.
Yeah, it's true,
It's
and
the
we call it the Navy.
Yeah.
Even though
In the
it
game.
should be the Space Force. But
Right. Thanks a lot, Trump. Okay, ArcCorp. This company produces jump modules, quantum drives, spacecraft engines, industrial mining equipment, and terraforming platforms. They're rather diversified there.
But they seem more of your like blue collar working man's ships.
They don't
They build
produce ships.
components.
Oh, wait, what?
Jump modules, quantum drives, spacecraft engines, industrial mining equipment, and terraforming platforms.
So these platforms, there's a big platform that like floats in the atmosphere and blasts giant lasers to mine.
When
or
they say
something?
platforms, I don't think they mean like a literal platform.
Oh,
I think
yeah, okay.
like a,
Yeah,
I got it.
I got
Piece
it,
of scaffolding you can hang on the side of your ship.
They used urban development theory created by an alien race of friends, allies. That's the word. Allied
We're a
alien
of
race
friends.
to cover their entire planet in construction. It's a city planet. Like there's you can't land on any ground on ArcCorp.
Oh, ArcCorp.
Yeah. The planet ArcCorp is completely covered in construction.
Huh.
It looks like a giant metal ball. Where they got all that metal, who knows?
That's what I was going to say. How do they...
Seems like a waste of metal.
How's space construction going on?
Yeah.
I wonder if anyway.
They took the core from the outside and
It's just
inside
a-
and put it outside.
It's just a sci-fi archetype. You gotta
Yeah,
have an entire city planet.
Yeah, I dig it.
It's fair.
Microtech, the company, produces PC devices, personal computing devices, namely Moby-Glass, which every player in the
Ah.
game has.
Yeah.
Kind of lead you to believe pretty much every person in the game has one. Spacecraft computers.
Can I upgrade my computer system?
You'll eventually be able to, yes.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Electronic data
Interesting.
pads and other consumer electronics. And they are, thanks to Moby-Glass, the largest computer and software developer in the UEE.
I believe
Jeez.
that. They're the Apple of Star Citizen.
Yeah.
And in the Stanton system right now, you can, there are a number of different careers that you can participate in. I've got a list of all of the ones that you can currently do and the ones that they intend to
Release.
release. And I'm going to try and separate them out right now as we're reading. Bounty hunting. There are
Hmm.
definitely bounty hunting missions right now.
Against other players or against AI?
Both.
Nice.
Cargo transport, trading, and delivery. Those are three different types of missions going on. Not
Right,
really
okay.
missions, but careers. Cargo transport and trading I kind of consider to be more or less the same thing. And delivery missions are pretty lame. They're kind of like you go here, pick up a single little box, and deliver it someplace.
I think it's a nice way to get into the game, though.
Sure. Yeah.
Low
Practice
can
the
be.
basics.
Yeah, you usually have to land in some interesting places, sometimes down on a planet, sometimes on a moon without any atmosphere, which is a very different landing. Sometimes on top of a tall skyscraper on a little platform. So, it's good practice. Exploration, I mean, it's not a well-defined career right now, but
yeah, how do you make
of course you
money?
can go explore.
But
in the
for it to
game.
be a career, you gotta get something back, or else that insurance on your ship
True.
gets
They
pricey.
they really need to lay out what they haven't laid out their thoughts on exploration as a career in the game yet
Mm.
in a long time, and there's no way they're still thinking the same stuff anymore.
I just don't understand how
Right.
we can be a multi-system civilization and not have quite literally universal basic income yet.
Politicians, I don't know.
We've failed ourselves, humanity.
I mean, I guess you could say that some of these missions, while being also partly search and rescue, could be considered exploration also. Like there are missions where you have to go spelunk a cave to find a missing hiker.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Nah,
You could
that's just
consider
search and
that.
rescue.
You could consider that exploration.
I guess.
There are sometimes wrecked ships that you have to go to and withdraw an important package or find a missing person there in the wreckage.
Sounds like the career should really be called opportunist.
Right.
Can you travel through wormholes yet
No.
and map it out?
No,
to
because
me,
there are no
that's-
other systems yet.
Right. To me,
Stanton's
that's what I would think of as an explorer.
Right.
And it's a very tangible result of what you're outputting and what you would get paid for.
High payout for that.
Yeah.
I mean, they've talked about that, but they haven't outlined
It's not
anything
there.
specific
Okay.
at all. There are also people out there that just fly around looking for loot crates and
Oh, really?
just take everything in them. And you can
So
kind of make a pretty penny selling the stuff you find.
dang.
So, that's kind of exploration because you don't get a mission for it. You'd never have a little thing on your
How
map or on your
absurd.
HUD
You
to
where to
tell
go.
you where to go to
So
find
you're
it.
literally just flying around.
You eventually learn how to find these different places. And yeah.
but this game is scaled, so like there's actual space.
Yeah.
that you have
Minutes of flying.
There are tricks
hours sometimes.
like
yeah.
you need to quantum travel towards this marker on this planet until you're within this distance. Then you turn off your engines, which stops your ship. Then you fly on this heading in this direction until this marker over here says this distance, and things like
it's
that.
kind of like navigating
for
the
wayfinding.
ocean.
Right.
That could be fun.
That's why they need to be breaking champagne bottles on them.
Medical is a career.
Oh.
People can ask for assistance, like they go into some criminal bunker to clear it out on a mercenary mission or bounty hunting mission, and they get downed. and you can.
Your job is to
And they
go
say,
in and
I'm dying. Please come help me. And your job is to get in there,
no way.
heal them with a medical gun.
Yes.
Medics get guns again.
Yeah. And, maybe give them a little backup, but you don't have to. The mission is just to heal them.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
a crazy one.
that's emergent gameplay. That's not a mission in the game. Like a player says, please
Okay.
come help me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that, especially with these groups that really are heavy into role playing.
Right.
I can just foresee so many funny scenarios.
Mercenary is another one. You've got missions where someone says, hey, this is our mining area. This asteroid area is ours, but someone has set up a bunch of turrets there that keep killing our miners. Go clear them out for us. That's a pretty common one. Mining. I would say mining is the most fleshed out career in the game.
And something about it just sounds fun. I don't know why. Mining just
Sounds terrifying, horrifying, because you're sitting there.
Yeah.
Like it's sitting duck mining.
I guess so. Yeah.
You've got all that expensive equipment on your ship. You've got who knows
fair.
how much ore that you've pulled up already. You're just sitting there.
Yeah.
Waiting for my
Pirates.
career.
But they've added little complications to the gameplay where like certain elements will explode if you don't transport them fast enough immediately after
Oh my
mining.
gosh.
Like the stuff that makes the fuel that allows ships to travel really fast, Quantanium, you have 15 minutes after mining the first piece of it before it will explode in your hull. So you need to
That's
have
cool.
some idea of how long it's going to take you to get to the place where you need to refine it.
So you know how much you can mine up
Right.
to maximize
So,
profit.
It's interesting.
Ooh, that's a Millennium Falcon job right there.
And also, different types of minerals need different mining laser heads, need different. I think you can have little add-ons to the laser that like give it a little zhuzh here and a push in that direction. I don't really know how it works. I'm not a miner.
Can you get loans in this game?
No.
Go.
I mean, there are plenty of people that say, like, just get into the group chat for the server and just say, hey, I'm really poor. Does anyone have any money they want to give me? And they'll
And
just
people
send
just do
people
it.
money. Yeah. Yeah. It happens all the time.
Hmm.
Because mining makes you a lot of money.
I guess I like the idea of mining because, like you said, it's very fleshed out. It's very clear what you're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas
True.
a lot of these other ones, they're either really dinky, quick missions, or like you just got to figure it out on your own.
I guess I want my organization to be able to have like a massive game controlling effect on the server. If I'm in an organization full of like mining ships, can we potentially have a complete corner on certain ore market?
Well,
Mine it all up and just wait until those prices skyrocket.
there are people hoping that eventually explorers will find uncharted star systems full of minerals, and that information can be sold to someone, like the coordinates for that jump point, and then that group will maybe own the system,
Yeah.
maybe not, maybe eventually other people will find it too. So you've got this time crunch. I don't know how that's going to work. Yeah.
But you could buy like kind of like what China does. They manufacture or they found a way to like get, say, aluminum super cheap. They just dump it on the market and just prices plummet because of this cheap material.
Mm-hmm.
And then it squeezes everyone else out of business. Now I'm the only guy in the game.
I mean,
And now you can
And I strengthen
jack
my position.
prices back up.
there is
Yeah.
going to be a living economy in the game. It's not there yet.
So that's what I was just going to ask. That's the
There will be live supply and demand, really localized, but also really general across all the different star systems. That's not in the game yet. That's called, I think they call that part of the programming they're working on. I think they call that quantum. And it won't control just the economy. It will control other things too. Passenger transport, that's not in the game yet. I mean, emergent gameplay, there is.
Yeah, you
yeah,
can
that
jump
happens. People say, hey, I just like phased through my ship and it left without me. Can I get a ride? That happens a lot. Piracy, that happens all the time. I mean,
Josh.
I'm so bad at it because I usually get blown up so fast.
I don't know if there are any like missions for piracy in the game. I haven't tried to find it because I try to stay on the good side of the law. I hate going to jail. It's so boring in jail. And if you're thinking, wow, you really have to go to jail in a game, what is the point of this game? Then this is not the game for you. But I mean,
can I phase out of the jail?
If you phase through the planet, generally you fall into the center of the planet, die, and then wake up in your bed in jail.
Groundhog's Day.
Yeah. But with piracy, you've got like there are people out there that will role play pirates, so they watch someone go land someplace, then they come surround their ship after they get out of their ship to go grab the box in this vending machine thing, and then they'll zoom in, and when they come back out to get into their ship, they're like, "Hey, give us money or you're dead." That happens a lot.
You said role play pirates?
Yeah. So like their organization in the game, their org,
Yeah.
they are pirates.
Okay.
It's what they do.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're like, "Arr, give us money." But you've also got players that are transporting cargo, and you go blow them up and take all that cargo and go sell it yourself.
Yeah.
Classic piracy. Classic.
Jerks.
Racing has just started to become a thing as a career in the game. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
You've got
That should take off.
You've got atmospheric racing, and you've got out in space. Zero G racing.
Yeah, that's sweet.
That was pretty recent. That was in the last update to the game, 3.19.
Oh.
What about any so you have first person shooter aspects, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any
Careers based off
battle arena, kind of like the NFL, but for space?
Sporting.
You have, dart. Yeah, so you have a dart gun or stuff.
Not in the game yet.
Okay, that would be pretty cool.
There are completely separate from the game, as if you're playing a video game inside the game, that are all simulations. And within that, you can earn currency
Credits?
that allows you to upgrade the equipment that you're
the
using
game.
in the simulation.
Okay.
It's more like jumping into a game of Halo rather than this massively multiplayer online game.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Weird.
And then there are some updates to that coming in 3.20, the next update to the game.
That just proves that we could be living in a simulation right now.
We could be. Who knows?
And that's a simulation within the
that
simulation
totally
within our
proves
simulation.
it. Yeah, that's proof.
It does. I knew it.
You've got refueling. I'm not totally sure that's in the game yet, but there are ships dedicated to having large tanks of extra fuel on board, and you just fly out to someone, says, "I need fuel," and you fill them up.
Nice.
Repair's not really in the game yet, but the functionality is. I just don't think there are any missions.
No cop career
Or
You just have to wait on AI
just
to do it?
mercenary.
Mercenary.
Mercenaries and bounty hunters as close as we get right now.
Oh yeah.
Reporting and journalism aren't really in the game. Salvage is in the game. There is an update to that coming in 3.20 where the mission will be criminal in nature, I believe. Somebody did something bad in their ship and people are trying to hunt down incriminating information about this crime that went down. So your job is to go to the wreck and skin the hull off of it so they can't find the name of the ship. And right now you can only salvage
tampering.
Yeah. Right now you can only salvage the hull and not the frame and not the bones of the ship. So
are you on
kinda
a
cool.
shot clock?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah. Like I
You have
believe
10 minutes until they get there.
I believe it's not even like that. I don't even think it's like that. I think the mission is generated, and if someone doesn't find it and complete it within 15 minutes or 25 minutes, whatever, after it's generated, then they got caught, basically.
Yeah.
So if you pick it up with only 3 minutes left, you're an idiot. You're not going to make it.
Have you mentioned data running yet?
That's not in the game yet.
It's not.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay focused on what's in the game right now.
This is a lot already.
Yeah, I know. Science isn't in the game yet. Smuggling, you can be a drug runner. You can get caught by security forces or cops who will say freeze or will shoot you, and they scan your ship and they'll find the drugs. It's really annoying because it's a little too futuristic for my liking. They just scan your ship and hey, you got drugs. And then they shoot you and you blow up and go to jail.
Yeah.
You might be able to outrun them, but then you'll have a crime stat.
Right.
And then there will be a bounty on your head and a player will come get you.
Yeah.
A player that's probably better than you, in my experience. Okay,
You can probably smuggle people too who have warrants out or something.
maybe.
Emergent gameplay.
Yeah, I've never
sort of
seen
thing.
that. but I'm sure it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good point. Actually,
Breaking prisoners out.
yeah, that does happen. That
Nice.
totally happens.
That's
Really?
cool.
Yeah, there are secret, not so secret anymore, thanks to the internet, ways of escaping Kleischer prison. But if you don't have someone there to pick you up right away, you're gonna die because there are turrets waiting to shoot you, and you're in a prison suit. You don't have armor or weaponry or anything, so it has to be pretty well choreographed.
That's awesome.
That is the current state of the game we call Star Citizen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dang it, that's what I was going to do.
Oh, shoot. Do it. You're going to do it better.
Thank you for being our brother. Wow, did
That
we
might be
just
too
nail that?
energetic, though.
Okay. we'll take another run at it then.
Okay. For being our brother.
The first one was too energetic.
Gotcha. Production of this podcast is done by Alex Stewart.
With music by Jared Poff and Alex Stewart.
For show notes, rockin' merch, and other brother goodness, check out our website at anotherbrotherpodcast.com.
Be sure to come back next week.
And tell your friends so they too can become a
Brother over here, brother over there.